She always believed betrayal had a taste, metallic, sharp, like blood held too long on the tongue. But when it came for her, it didn't taste like metal. It tasted like nothing at all. Like numbness so complete she almost mistook it for calm. Maya and Oliver had been married for 7 years, long enough to know each other's rhythms, habits, predictable arguments, and quiet reconciliations. They were the kind of couple that made strangers assume everything was perfect, shared vacations, synchronized schedules, matching coffee mugs, comfortable silence during Sunday mornings. But comfort is a fragile thing, and sometimes it's only a curtain hiding cracks no one wants to examine. The first crack appeared when Oliver announced he was investing in himself. A coaching program, he said. Leadership retreat weekends. Business mindset workshops. Maya didn't question it. He had always been ambitious, always chasing improvement, always hungry for the next milestone. It was one of the reasons she fell for him. She admired his drive, even when it left her lonely in their quiet apartment. But the second crack didn't take long to form. It happened on a Wednesday evening when Oliver left in a rush for one of his coaching calls. He kissed her cheek distractedly and dropped his phone on the couch before hurrying out the door. To take the call from the hallway, a notification popped up, then another, then a voice note. Normally, she never touched his phone, but this time, curiosity tugged gently at her hand. She didn't intend to snoop, she only meant to move the phone so it wouldn't fall to the floor. The voice note began to play accidentally. A soft laugh. I whisper. A woman's voice, but not just any voice. It was her younger sister's, Lily. Maya's breath vanished, just vanished, like someone pressed pause on her lungs. The message was unmistakably intimate, not explicit, but filled with a kind of closeness to people shouldn't share unless lines have already blurred. Miss you already, Lily whispered on the recording. I hate waiting for weekends, but hell never suspect a thing. You promised. You promised. The words echoed in Maya's mind with the violence of an explosion, but she didn't explode. She placed the phone down carefully, as though sudden movement might break what little remained of her world. When Oliver returned from his call, he didn't notice her stiffness. He didn't notice her eyes following him like he was suddenly a stranger in their home. He didn't notice the quiet way she drifted into herself. He only noticed that dinner was ready. That night, Maya didn't sleep. She lay awake listening to the rise and fall of Oliver's breath, steady, peaceful, undeserved. She stared at the ceiling until the shadows began to shift with dawn. Anger was the obvious emotion, but she didn't feel it. Not yet. What she felt was something colder. Something that sharpened her thoughts rather than clouded them. She replayed the voice note silently. She replayed the last few months. She replayed every excuse, every retreat weekend, every sudden shift in Oliver's schedule. And then she replayed every moment with her sister. The lunches, the reassurances, the sudden increase in self-care trips Lily started taking. The way she dodged questions about her love life. Patterns began forming, and with patterns came truth. The next morning, Maya poured herself coffee like nothing was wrong. She kissed Oliver goodbye. She told him to enjoy the retreat this weekend. He smiled as he left. He had no idea what was coming. Instead of going to work, Maya drove to the log cabin her family owned in the mountains, a place they rarely used anymore. As a child, the cabin had been her sanctuary. As an adult, she had gone there only during difficult moments, when life felt too heavy to hold. This time, it wasn't to hide. It was to observe, to watch everything unravel from a vantage point of clarity. She spent the morning preparing no revenge plan, no dramatic confrontation, just observation. She brought blankets, groceries, notebooks, her laptop, and a pair of binoculars left over from her father's old bird-watching hobby. She already suspected where the retreat was happening, a luxury lodge 20 minutes from the cabin. A place Oliver had mentioned almost too casually weeks ago. A place Lily had once joked about wanting to visit. The pieces fit too perfectly. By evening, Maya sat near the window of the cabin, watching the distant lodge lights flicker across the trees like distant campfires. She waited, and around 8:37 p.m., she saw it. Oliver's car, pulling into the lodge parking lot. But he wasn't alone. A second car arrived seconds later, Lily's little white hatchback. Maya didn't react, didn't gasp, didn't cry. She only watched as her husband stepped out, scanned the lot, then hurried toward the passenger door of her sister's car. Lily got out with a smile too soft to be innocent. They walked toward each other, and then they hugged. Not a sibling hug, not an in-law hug, not a friendly hug, a hug that belonged to two people who had crossed the line long ago. Still, Maya didn't cry. She felt something shift inside her, the final click of understanding. like a puzzle piece sliding into place. It didn't hurt anymore. It clarified. She didn't want revenge. She wanted her life back, and she wanted it without them. The next morning, Maya prepared the documents: divorce papers, evidence, screenshots, voice note transcripts, everything neat, clean, precise. She placed them into a single envelope and wrote 2 names on the front. Oliver and Lily returned to sender. Then she drove to town and hired a courier. She gave instructions to deliver the envelope directly to the lodge's front desk, marked urgent. She didn't need to witness the fallout. She didn't need to hear their excuses. She didn't need to be there when their carefully constructed lie detonated in their hands. What she needed was closure, and she gave it to herself. After the courier left, Maya sat by a small lake near the cabin and finally allowed herself to feel, not anger, not betrayal, but release. The kind that comes when you stop fighting for people who never fought for you. When she returned home days later, Oliver and Lily had already tried reaching her. Dozens of missed calls, messages ranging from frantic to apologetic to pathetic. She didn't open any of them. Instead, she changed the locks, updated her passwords, packed the few things that still held meaning, and stepped into the next chapter alone, but not lonely. Because loneliness is what she felt beside them. Freedom is what she felt without them. Months later, people asked how she managed to walk away so cleanly, so quietly, so powerfully. She always answered the same. Because the moment I saw the truth, I realized I was already gone. And that was the kind of ending she deserved. Not the dramatic one, not the vengeful one, but the one where she returned to herself after losing everything else. Sometimes survival isn't loud. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's simply choosing to leave before someone else ruins what's left of you.